Oh, they're making a new Pokemon game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting a little too old for this series. Maybe I should just skip this one. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! Caught him. I do not know what it is about this series that keeps me coming back. Pokemon White and Black 2. So if any of you watched my video about handheld gaming, you probably saw this video review coming. So I got my hands on this about 2 weeks ago, and now that I put more than enough hours into pre and post game, I think I've experienced enough to finally really talk about it. Over a decade ago, they gave us Pokemon Yellow. A few years later, they gave us Pokemon Crystal. A few more years beyond that, they gave us Pokemon Emerald, and even further down the line, they gave us Pokemon Platinum. So when we were all expecting Pokemon Gray, they actually gave us a sequel to the original Black and White 2. Now part of me thinks the only reason Game Freak decided to make the sequels was because they weren't entirely sure if Gray was spelled Grey or Gray. It's a mystery. But to be honest, I think they made the right call, and I have to admit this is quite possibly the most fun I had with a Pokemon game post-Generation 2. I might have actually had more fun with this than I did with Heart Gold. And I mean, by now, you know the drill. You're a kid in a small town, you get a Pokedex in your first Pokemon, and you decide to take on Pokemon League Challenge by getting the 8 badges. You have a rival that you're competing with, and along the way you have to stop an evil organization that's plotting something, and by the end of it all, you're ready to take on the Elite Four and capture some legendary Pokemon. I mean, I've done this stuff about half a dozen times, but this game actually manages to deliver that same plot in a really fresh way. The tutorial's over in a blink of an eye, and you'll have your first Pokemon before you know it. Now, I wasn't that big a fan of Unova in the first game, but I feel like in this one, I think they fully realized what this area was and presented it in a way that doesn't make it even remotely feel like a rehash. It's been 2 years since the first game, and you're playing as a brand new character starting from an entirely different section of Unova, and you'll notice some strange things. Whereas in the first game, it was just entirely the new Pokemon introduced for Generation 5, this game throws in a lot of your old favorites, and I'm not talking about Rattata or Pidgey. I mean, the second Pokemon I caught in this game was Riolu in like the second or third area, and that was by accident. I was just trying to progress through the area, and it just appeared. What's good about this game is that for the first time, they kind of spoil you. Like, for the most part, you don't have to wait for like the good Pokemon that you really want to keep in your party. Like, they throw them all at you. Actually caught a Milotic. I mean, Phoebus has been near impossible to get in all the past games, and here in this game, I actually caught its evolved form, and it's like, wow, thank you. And just the game as a whole is actually really generous at times. Like, there are multiple times where people just hand you max revives. When's that ever happened? You actually get 2 Master Balls in this game, as far as I can tell, and though you kind of have to seek out the second one. And the way you get the first Master Ball is just ridiculous. It's like you don't even do anything. The person's just like, here you go, nice meeting you in person for the first time. And also, like, my rival gives me an HM at one point, and my reaction was, wait, why do you have this? Like, the game just gives you a lot, and it really does spoil you. And this is a sequel, so it is continuing the story that they started out in the first. Some of the characters you grew to be familiar with in the first game are in this one also, and they're a little different now. And for the sake of context, I should admit for the first 5th gen game I played Pokemon Black, but for the sequel I chose Pokemon White 2. And this is probably the most story we've ever seen in a Pokemon game, and for the most part it actually is effective. I mean, it's not a great story, but it's just nice to see them make the most of the world they created and fill it with so many different personalities. With that said, though, even though he does have a full arc, Hugh was probably my least favorite rival. I mean, that guy's just a total dick. Scratch that, I should watch what I say before he makes me feel his rage. Though with that said, with more story going on, it is a little weird that the player is still a complete blank slate. I mean, if you're not going to have him talk, at least take a note from like The Legend of Zelda and have him emote with something more than the occasional exclamation mark appearing above his head. Stuff just happens that is like really strange sometimes in this game, and when it's done, he's kind of just standing there saying and thinking nothing, and it's really weird. But I'll move on more to side content. For reasons I will never be able to explain, I'm really into managing my own avenue in this game. It's this thing where people, there's just like this huge long mall looking street thing where people kind of come in and you can have them build stores and just get more people to visit those stores, and it makes the place bigger and better. I don't know why, I'm just really into that. And I haven't really given PokeStar Studios much attention, but that's just the one where you can act in movies with your own Pokemon. You would think the film reviewer would be into that, but surprisingly no. But maybe I should just give it a bit more time. But let me talk about endgame content. Even more Pokemon that you couldn't catch before are now available. There are a lot of challenges that will allow you to level up even further. And you would not have gone to every city by the time you beat the Pokemon League the first time, so there's a lot to do on the way to those cities afterwards. Though I have to ask, why do all those preschoolers in that one section have level 60 plus Pokemon? That's weird. And also battles with old characters like Cynthia and Alder will be available to you. That's pretty fun, and they're pretty tough. But the biggest draw for me was the Pokemon World Tournament, which is surprisingly difficult. They rounded up every leader from all the past games, and you're allowed to battle them in any format. Single battles, double battles, triple battles, rotation battles, and then when you beat them all, which I haven't, you get to face the champions from past games. And seriously, those gym leaders came prepared. Beating one of them is hard enough, but 3 in a row is where it gets challenging. So even though I'm reviewing it now, there's still plenty of things that I haven't done, which is surprising because I've put a lot of hours into this so far, more than I'm willing to admit, actually. But if you're still into this series, you probably already have the game, which begs the question, why are you even watching this? If you were once into the series but kind of gave up on it, but if you still have any nostalgia towards it, I think this one's actually worth picking up. Even if you're not into like the new designs for the new Pokemon, there are still plenty of oldies wandering around and waiting to be captured. And while it does help to have played the first Black and White, it's not mandatory to get into the story. But yeah, I'm really recommending this game. And if you like this review and you want to see more, why not subscribe? I primarily do movie reviews, but I'm going to try to get into games just a little bit more starting next year. And I also made a video talking about what's so special about handheld gaming a little while back. If that kind of thing interests you, why not check it out? I put a link in the underbar, and tell me what you think. And if you've played the game, tell me what you think. I'd really appreciate it.